Hey guys, welcome to another podcast edition of The Witching Hour. I'm your host, Leviathan. We are going to be recording this for YouTube, Facebook, all that good shit. So just want to welcome everybody here. Usually gets packed during the mid to late part of the show. So last time I left off was the day before yesterday. Pauline, do you happen to remember the image? Because honestly, I forgot the reveal. To be honest, I was so busy yesterday that I completely forgot the day before. What was that image? Do you remember? I totally forgot. I really did.
The one that was in the back?
Yeah, the one back here. Behind
the clown. It.
Oh, that's why it was fucking Pennywise. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Why is Pennywise the clown? Yeah, I remember now. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, is that you? No, that's not you, Peanut Girl. All right. Did your friend manage to get unblocked there? Not sure. So anyway, you will see the raise hand option. Feel free to just click on that if you have a question, you want to project your thoughts at any time. Christopher, you have the megaphone. Go ahead. How was your New Year's?
Good, thank you for unmuting me. I have a few comments and questions.
Why?
You ever get one of those days? Because of the migraine? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have a dream before? Because I had one last night where you're like possessing somebody else's body and you're living through somebody else's life and you have memories that are somebody else's. Because last night,
or you're dreaming of completely somebody else, you think?
It's a good question because last night was a really weird dream. It almost felt like I had distant memories. I had chapters of my life that I remember so clearly, and I've never had that before. I've had like lucid dreaming, astral projection, that kind of stuff where you feel like your body can see it. But this dream was so vivid. Last night I was this guy named Tom Redding or Red, something with the word red. I think it was Redding or something like that. Tom. I remember the name. My name was Tom because people were calling me Tom. Anyway, I had two cats. They were both orange. One of them had a white tip tail. And I remember being divorced or something and having a child that lived with the mother. So it was just me and the cats in an apartment. I remember that. And that's not too profound, but what made it really weird is that it's kind of, okay, so I went to the kitchen and I opened the fridge and there's body parts inside the fridge, but they're not like bloody, they're nothing like that. They look very clean, but there's a weird kind of mirrorish dream that I had, but there was like body parts in there, but they were like dolls, like doll parts, but they weren't like cut off human parts, like dolls, but they're like arms and feet and stuff like that. Nothing grotesque heads, but they were just doll parts that you could see the joints, like you would on a doll, like the hinges and stuff like that. It was really weird. It's something you'd probably find in like a Silent Hill game, something like that. It was really bizarre. And I remember the phone ringing, just constantly ringing. And I remember picking it up once, and it was somebody who said they were something about a newspaper. I don't remember that part too well. So it was a woman, and then I hung up. It's a really bizarre dream. I was on the top floor in my apartment, and I could look outside, and I saw the street, and it turned into like an ocean that turned red. It was so fucking weird. I can't really explain, but it was so vivid. And I remember thinking in my mind, like I had memories, like, okay, what am I going to do today? In that guy's mind. And I'm like, okay, I got to go to work. And it was so weird. I've never had a dream like that before.
You ever feel like I felt this sometimes where I feel like I can transport into someone's life or into someone's body during my dream and experience like their way of life.
I've had similar dreams like that, but nothing so vivid like last night. It was so odd. I mean, those fucking body parts or those doll parts in the fridge. It was so.
But what was your feeling towards those body parts in the fridge? Were they, like,
I was kind of
negative,
grossed
neutral,
out.
like,
I was kind of grossed out. I was just like, "What the hell is this?" You know, it's nothing I would do. So it's just kind of like, "What the fuck is this?" You know. That's the first thing that came into my head.
Your past life, or
No, because they were just doll parts. They weren't like actual human parts or anything like that. It was just so odd, you know, like mannequin, like somebody took off mannequin pieces and put them in the fridge. I mean, that's such a pointless thing.
So
So
how
I
did you remember
can't
the
really.
name so vividly?
I don't know. They're just there. Tom Redding or Tom Red something. The word red was definitely in there. Tom. I didn't think to look it up, but I think I will. I don't know what city I was dreaming in or anything like that. I have no idea where I was at. Tom. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because it was definitely an experience that I wanted to share. Really odd. I was gonna ask if anyone else has had any type of similar dreams, because I mean these were very vivid. I wasn't really dreaming because obviously I didn't know I was dreaming. It felt so real.
Yeah. Well, I had a so real dream a few nights ago. I was holding. I don't have any children.
Yeah.
And I looked up in my arms, and it was like a baby girl, and she was mine, and I was like meeting her. And I said, "Wow, I have a daughter." Like, it was just. I woke up, I'm like, "What the hell?" You know, I didn't know what to think of it. I'm like, "Where are they coming from?" Because I don't think about kids at this moment in my life, you know. And
do you want kids? Like, do you eventually want to have kids?
Huh?
Do you want kids eventually?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's open, but I don't know. It's not like, you know, top priority, number one. No. But if we're, you know, I'm sure.
There exists a church in the United States called the Church of Euthanasia.
Whoa.
And the first time I heard of this church was through a video called Subterranean Cinema. It's kind of an underground type of film I acquired from my affiliation with like the Church of Satan and stuff like that. And I first saw a clip of these people marching down the street somewhere in either New York or something like that on a loudspeaker, just marching down the street saying legalize cannibalism and all this bizarre shit, right? And they have really crazy shit, stuff I don't agree with, but they say you save the planet and kill yourself, which is a really kind of funny. I think some of it's satire, but no, they're actually real serious.
So why don't they start with themselves?
Yeah, exactly. And so
why are they asking other people to do it?
they encourage voluntary suicide. I mean, I actually went so far as to look at their website, Church of Euthanasia. It's very bizarre, but it exists, and I think it's interesting enough to talk about for a minute, because it's like, wow, there's some bizarre shit out there. There's a lot of like death cults. I don't know if you guys have seen what is it called, the Key Gate or Stargate, or remember that old man on YouTube that fucking had some people kill themselves with some. Did you see that video?
I think there was
kind of famous.
It's a cult, right?
It's a cult, yeah.
Yeah, where they, I vaguely remember it, but yes.
Yeah.
No thanks. I don't know how people would. No.
Yeah, me neither. I'm against death on every aspect, which is why I'm a member of the Cryonics Institute.
Are you against, like, for people who are suffering and want euthanasia for themselves? Like,
I think it's
suicide?
people's prerogative. Let me elaborate when I say I'm against death in all forms, in regards to my own life and those I care about. So if there's somebody that I love and care about who was suffering tremendously, for example, and there was absolutely no hope, no chance for recourse or remediation in any way, then it's their prerogative. At that point, I would probably be like, okay, well, if that's really what you want. But if there's definitely a chance that death does be an option, I would go for that. Most definitely. I think death is something that's I think I look at death like a disease, not so much
like
a path that.
Stage.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a disease, aging disease. And I kind of see the human body as like like a vehicle. Over time, you change parts that need to be changed, kind of maintain the integrity of the vehicle, the human vehicle. Yeah.
You're the core. I think that way.
Okay, so what do you guys think of? What do you guys think of that, though? I mean, there's people that don't think about death because it's something that people kind of push in the back of their minds for the sake of just fear. Hey, I don't want to talk about this. I want to live my life. I want to live it up.
Well, crazy enough, I think about death maybe every week.
Tell me about it.
It like crosses my mind some kind of way, shape, or form. I'm not afraid of it. I have no fear towards it. I actually kind of, in a strange way, enjoy learning about it. And I know YouTube has opened that portal for it, where people are uploading like their loved ones passing. You know, and I found myself on that side of YouTube watching that, where like, you know, somebody's taking their last breath. And just watching that, you know, at the same time it's sadness, but at the same time it's almost like a relief for that particular person when you like read their story and what they've been through. You know, it's almost like that happy ending, you know, sad, but I think for them it's a new journey. I'm more of like reincarnation for myself, so I don't think it's the end. I just think your energy is just transferred into something else right away. You know,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You know, as soon as you pass, like that slowly what can I call it? Like a transfer into like the new life. That's what I feel is occurring. Whether you meet the person or see your family beforehand of where you're going, I don't know. But eventually I feel like it's just like recycling.
Like a transcendence into something or somebody else. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I was talking about this not too long ago in one of my discussions here, and I wouldn't mind talking about that again because a lot of these discussions that we've already had were discussions that were not recorded. And I would like to actually get this down and record because I think a lot of the talks we had were very interesting. So as far as the topic of death is concerned, I think after people die, there's a lot of interpretations of what happened. I think, like I've said before, if you have a lust for life, you can peek behind the veil of death if you really want to be here that bad. And I've made the comparison of the child that refuses to go to sleep because, you know, everything's so interesting. He just kind of gets out of bed and wants to be involved in whatever's going on. And it's that lust for life that people have. And if you have that afterwards, I think you'll stick around for a little while. And I think death, for the most part, is like I said, it's just a disease that science is trying to cure, or remediate, or really reverse. Hey, Sonny, nice to see you. So I think death Sonny, we were talking about death in one of my discussions. You might have been part of the audience for that one. A lot of the topics I am going to rehash in some future episodes for the sake of recording them, because I did not get a chance to record any of these. So that's where I'm going. Let's see. Go ahead, Jaden. What's going on?
Hi, this is my first time, and I really like this show so far. And I just wanted to ask what the name of the YouTube channel is.
The name of the YouTube channel where you will find these videos in the upcoming future is going to be Leviathan AltSpaceVR. So far, there's only one. So far, there's only one video on there, and that video is of my comedy show. I'm going to be uploading 2 playlists, one of the prank call comedy show, the other one is going to be the witching hour. And if any other shows in the future, obviously I'll make playlists dedicated to those. But for now, there's only one video because it takes fucking forever to upload a video. Number one, from my video editor, because I do have to edit these videos down. That takes some time. I have to download the finished product, which takes even more time. And finally, when I upload it to YouTube or Facebook or whatever, that takes a lot of time too. So it's a process just doing that to one video. I had about an hour's worth of content for the comedy show, for example. And when I edited it down and condensed it, it only made 25 minutes. Because a lot of the time I'm making phone calls and there's a lot of dead air. I just want to get to the good parts because people's attention spans are very short and I don't want to bore people and, shit like that. But check it out. It's actually very funny. Aside from what we're talking about right now, I made a call to a barbershop. You were there, Paulina. I called the salon, and said that my wife's hair was falling off. I called and this is for adults, by the way. This is a lot of adult language and shit like that. So I don't recommend kids going to my show, but people are going to look at it anyway. I called Costco. I think I called Costco's photo center and said that people were drawing dick pics on my face and on my family photos and, stuff like that. And then I called Walgreens. That was a great suggestion Paulina gave. I called Walgreens and essentially told the guy that I wanted my photos developed, but that they were very explicit. And I got into real big detail with how explicit they were. You have to listen to it to find out. And the last one was great. The last one was me connecting 2 Domino's workers from separate locations with one another over the phone. I had given a big order to one of them and told them to repeat it to the other one, so the other one thought out that they were a customer. It was great. It was great. And that phone call, by the way, is inspired by some guys that do prank calls on the Howard Stern show. I find it super hilarious. Sal and Richard, those are the names of the guys. But I digress. Going back to the reason why you guys are here. Sonny, I was talking about a dream I had. Really fucked up dream, actually. That I had last night. It was really weird, really bizarre. I had vivid memories of being somebody else. Apparently my name was Tom Redding or Redford or whatever. And the guy had like mannequin parts in his fridge. It was really bizarre. It was really fucking weird. But I was in that guy's body experiencing his memories and shit. It was a really trippy dream. Anyway, I forgot to mention to you guys, by the way, that again, just like in our other shows, there is an image hidden behind these mushrooms that nobody can see, obviously. And one of the big things I'd like to experiment with is everybody's sense of intuition, everybody's ability to have psychic phenomenon. And I always put an image versus words. Because I always say that when you were a little kid, when you were a baby, you operated on this conscious level, and all you knew was images and sounds, not necessarily words that you could read, obviously. So I put an image, totally random image, and the first thing that comes to your mind is what I want you to go with later on, because at the end of the show, I am going to reveal what is actually there. So don't try to guess. Don't try to come up with a bunch of different things. Just the first thing that comes to your mind, the first thing you feel, essentially is what you're going to stick with. So, and I will try to project that onto you guys. I usually mute myself and I'll just kind of yell it out what it is. And I think the trick is to just picture me talking. Like you just got to keep hearing what I'm. It's kind of like when you fine tune a radio, you can kind of tune in and get rid of the static in the background. That's the only way I can really describe it, is what you want to try to go for. And you'll find that if you meditate, stuff like that, if you really stick to like the now and do stuff like that, those types of practices can essentially enhance your subconscious awareness. So I encourage people to try it, test it out. Don't just believe what I'm saying, obviously. Just test it out for yourself and see how that goes. But anyway, this dream that I had, Sonny, was really fucked up. The sky was it was like nighttime, but I remember looking outside. I was on like a top floor, and I looked outside, and the street turned into like a red ocean, and it's really bizarre. The phone kept ringing, and oh, and I didn't mention how I woke up too. The phone rang. Could have been my phone ringing in real life, but eventually the phone had woken me up, and I had gotten up. And I picked up the phone, and it was somebody somebody said, "Hey," I forgot what they said next, but they said, "Hey," and like it sounds like the phone had cut off, like they had hung up or something. But then they called me back, and I answered the phone, and I was like, "Hello," and they're like, "Hey, it's me," and I'm like, "Who's this?" And they hung up again. And they haven't called me back since. And I looked on the caller ID and it said unknown number. So, like I said, coincidences. Yeah, it's really bizarre. So that happened last night. It's not exactly spooky, but it happened. So I don't know. It's really weird. Carmen, go ahead. You have the. By the way, welcome back.
Mm-hmm. So, like, the person that you were dreaming of was probably calling you that unknown number.
You know what? I can't explain who I was in that dream, other than the guy's name was Tom, and the phone kept ringing in my dream, and it could have been because I kept hearing the phone ringing in real life. I don't know, and I don't know who the hell that was either. I don't know if there's any.
Sometimes that actually happens.
I don't know. I don't think there's any correlation there, to be honest. I just found it kind of weird. That's all. And dreaming of mannequin parts inside the fridge is some real spooky Jeffrey Dahmer type shit. You know, like that's kind of like that's something I would never imagine ever doing. That's just kind of twisted. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer who ate his victims, and he kept like their actual body parts, like their heads and shit like that, inside the fridge. Really sick shit. And these mannequin parts didn't look anything like that. Like there was no blood, there's nothing like that. They were just like somebody had pulled off arms and feet from a mannequin. You could see like the joints. They just threw them inside the fridge. Like I don't know what that was all about, but I remember opening the fridge and I just saw mannequin parts. So I don't know what that was all about, but that happened. So, have you guys ever had like really fucked up dreams like that before? Because I mean, I don't want to think I'm the only one in the world. I'm starting to go crazy, getting fucked up dreams. You know, I don't suffer from schizophrenia or anything like that. So it's and I put up some really crazy pictures like that. Luckily, I've never dreamt of anything like that. That's a fucking monster over there. I don't even know what the fuck it is. It's just, something you'd see if you took too much drugs all at once. But anyway, yeah. So I had a guy waltz in here, and it's kind of a shame too because he was on my friends list and stuff like that. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. He just waltzed in here earlier, and he decided to hold my show. I don't know why he did that, but he decided to go on some really stupid rant. And I always say, you know, if you're gonna troll the show, I'm totally off. I mean, I fucking prank call people, you know what I mean? So I get the comedy, it's totally cool. But he decided to troll the show in a way that wasn't even funny, and so I was just like, all right. And so I messaged him to take himself off my friends list because I mean he's not funny. So, but anyway, that was kind of a shame. I remember him contributing one time to the show, pretty legitimately, I thought, and so that's kind of a shame. Guess, go ahead. Yes, 49, 72. Go ahead. And that's you with the yellow face on the stairs. What's up? Let's try that again. Go ahead. No? All right. Well, you figure out your technical difficulty there, and we'll come back to you. So on the bottom right, you. All right. Let's try that again, guest. 4972. You have the megaphone. Try it again. No dice, huh? All right, Puff. You have the megaphone. Go ahead. Puff. 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 Puff what? What are you puffing on? Inquiring minds want to know. Wow. Try that again, Puff. Go ahead. Oh. Okay. All right, that's fine. So anyway, for you guys that are new in the audience, welcome. I usually start off the show by having you guys look over here, and you'll see a picture. It's always a random picture every time, but behind the picture, there's another picture. It's a hidden picture. It's something that is random. It's not something that you're going to see around here. I don't want to influence your decision. So what you're going to do essentially is just guess. First thing that comes to your mind, just go with that. First thing you can pick up. And I mentioned the reason why I always put an image versus words. Since you were a baby, you were operating on the subconscious. And so I figure words are not as conducive to an easier to access psychic phenomenon as maybe a sound or a word. Obviously, I can't put sounds. So the first thing that comes to your mind, just go with that. Okay, don't overthink it. Just the very first thing, and we're going to reveal that at the end of the show. The last show, it was a clown. It happened to be Pennywise. Nobody got that one. But the one before was an orange cat. And I had a member of the audience say, I'm guessing orange. And then their conscious mind decided to say, I think it's a carrot. So their very first instinct was orange. So I found that very inside the ballpark, which was very interesting. Two members of the audience then went ahead and said, tiger. So again, a ballpark, orange, cat. So that was pretty cool, I thought. And before that, I had a show where I had two tacos. And Pauline over here said, organic, something organic, half circle. Hey, I thought that was pretty amazing. So that was a really fun part of the show. Somebody else said food, but that was a little too general, but still, okay, I'll take it. But the half circle organic, that was pretty cool. So not only was it a half circle, it was organic. So obviously food is organic. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see if psychic phenomenon in the audience would be possible through VR. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, I feel so immersed in this experience. Pretty sure most of you do too. So I wouldn't see why it's unreasonable to assume that psychic phenomenon would be impossible through the VR headset. I think some of you guys are also on your PC, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. Well, I'm on the Oculus Quest. So, Jaden, go ahead.
Hi, how often is the show?
I try to do it every night.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So if you want to know what time, I started this show almost an hour ago. Right now it is 9:37 p.m. my time. So just figure out what time for you and guess 49:72. Try it this time.
I don't know no more.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You know, I put it on the description and I put it on the introduction, and I try to be as thorough as possible when it comes to the intention of the show and the direction I'd like to take it. And I personally don't discount what a little kid's experience might be concerning the paranormal, especially since I feel that children do operate more on a subconscious level, and so they're probably more psychically aware of these types of things. However, I know that the audience is probably not going to take the experience of a child as seriously as they would another adult. So there's a discrepancy there on what direction I want the show to go, because I feel that if a child is going to tell stories and stuff like that, I feel that it's immediately prejudiced. And, that's a shame, but that's just the way it is. And so I always encourage, if there's any kids here, to not be here, number one. But if they're here, I mean, I'm not going to play the daddy role. I'm not the babysitter. That's their parents, that's on them. So if they're going to be here anyway, I encourage them to not interject if they can help it. But hey, there's really no age restriction that I can actually set here. So another thing that I want to remind people is that there's a lot of adult language here, but I don't find it too big of a deal, because if you have Cards Against Humanity here with no age restriction, there's a lot of fucked up shit in that. And I'm pretty sure my show is pretty tame by comparison. So it's just an innocent reminder of that there. But anyway, oh, how did that happen, Billy? I didn't get to see that. And Lenny, you are a bad one, aren't you? So you got behind my set, didn't you? So you got to see the picture, huh? Yeah, you got to see it. Well, I'll tell you what, that's okay. I just won't let you speak when it's time to go ask everybody else what it is. Tell you what, you'll be the last one, okay? I'll click on you last, and you can tell me then, okay? Jacob, you have the microphone. Go ahead.
So,
Thank you.
So I'm not trying to spread any hate or anything, because I love your show. I love the Witching Hour, but it might seem crazy, but Cards versus Humanity, the age restriction is 10 and up.
Oh no, there's no hate there at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that reinforces my point that if you can have a game like that has a lot of adult topics, adult language, which is not a big deal, really, then I'm pretty sure a show like this, by comparison, is not going to ruin anybody's life, which was my point. But I do try to make it explicitly clear that the show is intended for people who are 18 or over. But I'm not going to go out of my way to go search for every under 18-year-old here and kick them out. That's just not practical. So anyway, I did mention the dream I had last night. It's a pretty fucked up dream. For those of you who didn't get to hear about that. So I dreamt out some guy named Tom. I had some very vivid memories of being this guy. Mannequin parts inside the fridge, really weird. I want to move on though to something else, because I feel like I've mentioned it quite a few times already. And I wanted to kind of see what you guys have had as far as experience and dreams are concerned. What's the most fucked up dream you guys have ever had? That's what I want to know. Recently. It seems like ever since the new year hit, my dog has been acting really weird. She was asking for food from somebody who wasn't there. I've never seen her do that. She did it this morning, and she did it last night. So I don't know if she's okay. It's kind of weird. I have her trained where I have a piece of food, and I'll do this with my hand with the piece of food, and she'll go in a little circle, obviously wanting the food. And she did that last night again, and the night before, and this morning. And she was looking up, like if somebody was there doing that to her. Nobody was there, and so I just found that really bizarre. And it's not spooky; it's just bizarre. So who knows? Maybe she's really old already. But Saitama, you have the megaphone. Go ahead.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So on the topic of dreams, I wouldn't say it's like really fucked up, but the other night I've been working on what's it called? I forgot what it's called. Where you're able to control your own dreams.
Lucid Dreaming.
Lucid Dreaming. I've been working really hard on that. Listening to those, those sleep meditation things that help you with it and all that. And so I'm on like week 3 of those, and I've done pretty good. And the other night, and I told this to my fiance because I thought it was fucking hilarious. I just put my daughter down for a nap. I just put my son down for a nap. And I was like, all right, time for daddy to take a nap. And so I laid down, and it was like that in between stage, like you could like fall in your sleep and like jerk yourself back awake.
Right.
It was there, but I was dreaming. I was vividly dreaming, and I was like, okay, I'm well aware that I'm dreaming, and some guy is chasing me, and I don't know why he's chasing me. So I just stopped, and I was like, if I'm dreaming, then I can just fucking fly away from him. And that's what I did. I just started flying away. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. And so I was just zooming in. The ground below me seemed like just grasslands, like really plain texture, whatever my mind was coming up with. And then all of a sudden I heard, a bunch of fighting and gunshots and everything. And I was like, oh, I got to go to the city. And somehow I just knew where the city was, flew towards the city.
Yeah.
And there was a dude on a building, pretty tall building, and he was like shooting rockets and shit. I play video games a lot, so he was shooting rockets and shit down at the cops and whatnot. And I go up there, and I was like, all right, if I can fly, then that means, I should be able to Kamehameha his bitch ass from there. And I went up there with that full intent, and I was like, here we go. And as soon as like I peek out from the edge of the building and I see him, I aim my hand to shoot at him, and just fucking acorns, like comedy acorns, start popping out of my hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not right. That's not what I wanted. So I flew away, and like I was like, all right, let me give myself a second to prepare here. And I tried again a couple times. I got some larger acorns, but that's all I kept getting was acorns every time.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's funny, man. I kind of wish I could lucid dream and make it really cartoonish, because I would have a lot of fun. If I could lucid dream and make it into a cartoon, I'd probably do something old school. No, you know what? If I could, I'd make it more like Cuphead, and you play that game, Cuphead. I would make it like that. Like something old school, vintage, something crazy and fun. I love all that old shit. Oh, shit. What was that? Go ahead. Sorry about that. We're like, try that again. There you go.
Who's framing Roger Rabbit type feel.
Nice. Yeah.
For the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh man, that's an awesome movie. That's nostalgia for me. Most definitely. Sonny, go ahead. You seen that movie, Sonny?
I actually have not.
Really? That's
I'm probably the
good
only
movie.
person here that hasn't. Yep.
No.
I was gonna tell you for that.
No, go ahead.
Oh, probably not. I mean, the only person 30 years old and over that hasn't seen it, I imagine.
It's not a masterpiece. Don't worry, but it is a nostalgic piece of filmography for me. Go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to tell you about like a creepy recurring dream that I had when I was a kid. And I was really young. I'm talking like 5 or somewhere around 5 years old, not older than that. But I started having this random dream. It would keep coming back over and over again. And it didn't make any sense at all, but I remember being excited every time that I had it. And it seems really symbolic, but I can't make sense of it. And I don't want me to have this dream, but it took place in my grandmother's house, which is where I spent most of my time as a kid. Yeah. And I would go into her bedroom, and then there would be all over the room, just like floating around the room, just severed hands. Not like gory or anything, just like, well, kind of like mannequin hands, really.
Yeah.
Just floating in midair. And there's a single red dot in all of the hands, like right in the palm of all the hands, just kind of floating in midair. And then I would leave the bedroom, and then they would be all over the house, just in the air. And it made no sense to me. And it's just very weird for a kid to have that dream, but I still remember it to this day. I'm turning 30 this year, and I still remember this repeating dream that I had when I was a kid. Wow. And it's probably the creepiest thing I've ever dreamed. And it just came with a sense of fear with it. Yeah.
Jeez.
Very weird.
Wow.
so
I saw
that
a
means
video.
anything to anybody.
No, I saw a video on YouTube. I don't know if some of you guys have seen this video. Some of these ghost videos that have come out, or is it a movie? No, I think it was on YouTube where there's a segment where these hands or arms are coming out through the ceiling or through the walls or something. It looks really, really cool if it's a special effect. So I'm pretty sure it's a special effect, but it looks really crazy, really creepy. That's what that reminded me of. But yeah, that's pretty trippy, Sunny.
Yeah, it's weird.
What do you interpret that as being? Because they have a lot of dream books and stuff like that out there. So
honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like there were no arms attached to it or anything. It wasn't coming out of walls, or it was just hands in the air, kind of like my hands floating here in AltSpace, just there.
Okay.
Not moving.
Yeah, interesting.
With red dots in the center of the hand, I remember that specifically.
Right on.
I can still see it in my mind's eye. That's how
vivid it was, huh? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, what a trip. Jeez. Universal, what do you think? You have the megaphone.
Yeah, I actually got a book at Goodwill for $2. Oh, yeah, I actually got a book at Goodwill for $2. It's called 10,000 Dreams Interpreted, and it has a bunch of names of the symbols. And I walked in here, and I was like talking about it, and that book was right in front of me. That was crazy.
That's interesting because we were mentioning coincidences tonight, and I'm glad you interjected that, because that's pretty much something that I mentioned here in the description, is that there's a lot of coincidences that people have been coming across in the beginning of the year. And that's just another example of that. So tell me more about at least your craziest dream that you've had recently. Have you had anything crazy that you've dreamt of recently?
Not recently. I attribute that to smoking cannabis before I go to sleep.
So you know what? You would be great for my first show, I think. What do you think, Paulina? That'd be awesome, right? For my first show. So kind of hard to follow all that. There's a lot going on there. So thank you for sharing that with us, Universal. Cameron, you have the... and I have really nothing to comment because I don't speak German. And it doesn't sound scary. It just sounds fucking goofy, So, truth be told. Go ahead.
Okay, so there was this dream I had when I was like 4. I kept having it. She reminded me of it. But I would just be in like this really dark area with like a white figure thing. And we would just like argue over stuff. I have it all the time.
So you have a dream? Okay, well, well, see, this is where I kind of hesitate, because I'm asking you questions that I probably shouldn't even be asking. I was going to ask you about like your home life, but that's not something that.
Well, it's okay.
No, it's not. it's for the sake that you're under 18 and it's not something that I think is anybody's business. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but it is a question that I would like to ask, but just not to an underage person, obviously, because that's in violation of some privacy law for kids, something like that. But anyway, I wish you the best on that. I hope everything is going okay at home, because I find that when kids go through some shit, I went through some shit, and I would have some pretty trippy dreams sometimes. A lot of it was a reflection of my home life, but I do remember stuff like that. Jacob, you have the megaphone. Go ahead.
So there, I think him with the pink beard, he reminded me of this.
Mhm.
So I was in a dream, and it was like I was running away from this monkey, like this big monkey for some reason, and I was like hiding in these tall like grass. I think it was like bamboo. So I was like peeking through, and I saw the monkey, and the monkey saw me. So I was running, and I was like, wait a minute. I just realized I'm in a dream. I can fly away. So I grew these big wings, and like the wings like it literally like failed me. Like all that happened was I just jumped really high, and then like I landed on these rocks, and I started looking around, and I saw the monkey. And I was running away again, and I just woke up.
Well, congratulations. That is an attempt at lucid dreaming. You said you became aware of the fact that you were dreaming, and so you kind of took charge there. But the fact that you weren't able to continue flying and you fell on the rocks tells me that you still need a little bit of practice before you can actually control every aspect of your lucid dreaming there, Jacob. So just keep note of stuff. You know, I recommend people having dream journals so that they kind of recall their experiences with these types of dreams, and it kind of does help you lucid dream more. Maddie, you have the megaphone. Go ahead, Maddie.
Hey, going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I've had problems with my mic. Long time ago, when I was a kid, 30 years ago or so, I had this dream where I got lost in a suburb near where I lived, and I vaguely remember there might have been a friend of mine with me, but I can't remember. And we went to my parents' friend's house, and they wouldn't help us because we didn't know where to go. It might have been with me, just me, or might have been with a friend, I don't know. But anyway, there was this guy outside, and he had like a cart with that used to, you know, you turn the handle and it makes music, and the monkey is dancing, right? And all these kids were around him, and the guy was playing with the monkey, and everyone was watching him and everything. And then it went nighttime real quick, and I had nowhere to go. So I can't remember if I hid under the cart or inside the cart, but I hid in the cart somehow. And then I remember footsteps around outside, and I could see somehow there was a man out there, but all he was wearing a trench coat and sort of like a Panama hat, and he had no face but two big white eyes with red spirals on them. And then that's basically where the dream ended. It was a very long time ago, and I've never forgotten that dream. I don't remember dreams very much, but that dream has been like the one, like even now, like it's a little bit terrifying.
Yeah.
Like the guy was not a friendly guy, and I've never dreamed it again. It hasn't been reoccurring, but I don't know. I've just never forgotten it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
I don't know.
that was a friendly counter. Most definitely. You know, there's a lot of meaning to dreams, I think, and I feel that a book like I think it's called Zolar's there's a lot of dream books out there, but I know Zolar's interpretation of dreams or something like that is a really good one. There's a lot of dream books out there that kind of give you an explanation. And you know, a lot of times these dreams are not meant to be taken literally. So obviously, if you die in a dream, that doesn't mean you're going to die in real life. That just means that symbolically speaking, it could be time for a change, or you know, that kind of thing. I know that when you dream of like your teeth falling out, that's kind of like a health issue. So it's relative, but like I said, dreams should not be taken literally. Saitama, you have the megaphone. Go ahead.
Somebody said something about wood. I forgot who it was, but I mean, their dream involved some wood. That reminded me of oh no, it was the kid with the reoccurring dream with the white figure. So I'm 22, you know, just so everybody knows, so I can talk freely about my past. You know, ages 5 through 10. At first it started with my babysitter. She had molested me. Then my stepsister, with my dad, his wife, she had molested me. And then on my mom's side, from ages 7 to 10, my stepbrother had just been molesting me, and I felt like I could never speak up or anything about it. I felt scared to say anything about it.
Yeah.
And I had 2 reoccurring dreams very often. One was a big empty white room, just never-ending whiteness.
Yeah.
And I was a log. I was just literally a log with a little leaf sticking out of it. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't move.
Yeah.
And it was horrifying. But that dream only lasted. It felt like it only lasted like 3 minutes, but it was the longest of my life. So, you know, I can't breathe or anything.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was.
I'm sorry that you went through these experiences. These are very terrible. You know, from my interpretation of what you say happened in your dream, you're a log, you're floating out in the water, and you're at the mercy of where the tide takes you. You're at the mercy of where this stream is heading. And so I think that's just kind of a subconscious reflection of your situation that you had. You know, it wasn't literal, but it was definitely relative in that you had no choice of where you were going. These are things you just had to put up with. However, there was, despite the fact that you thought that you were potentially driftwood or dead wood out in the water, floating aimlessly, there's still a spark of life in there. That little leaf you had mentioned, and I'm glad that you managed to survive all that, and for the most part turn out as good as you have. I don't know you personally, so I don't know how that experience left you as an adult. Hopefully you don't take off your headset and go putting mannequin parts inside the fridge like I did in my dream. But anyway, yeah, you know, when people go through these experiences, they're very they could be very traumatic. I know I went through some things when I was a kid, things I never would want to really share or reveal with anybody in VR, but I have gone through some things before. So maybe one day I'll open up about those experiences. So, all right. Hello, friend. Go ahead, friend. You have the megaphone. So I just wanted to let you guys know we are almost out of time here, and I do want to go to the reveal. So I'm going to get to you guys as soon as possible. Go ahead. Hello, friend. You have the megaphone.
Hello. Can you hear me?
No, actually, nobody can. You have to speak up.
Hello. Can you hear me?
No, you have to yell. You have to yell. You have to yell really loud.
You're lying to me, bro.
No, look, ask anybody here. They cannot hear you. I'm the only one that can hear you.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. But tell me and I'll tell them what you're saying. Just tell me what.
Okay, so, I might sound like a child, first of all, before I start.
I just want to let everybody know that this guy says that he thinks he sounds like a child. Go ahead.
But anyway, all of my dreams that I have, like just about all of them, they're like super, like trippy. Like I have no clue what's happening, or like I know that I fell asleep and I know how I got there, but I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And out of the blue, I'll just see like horrible images of like animals like being slaughtered. Like I feel like I go insane whenever I sleep.
Well, see,
it's weird.
I was gonna fuck with you, but then you took it in this real serious direction that I just couldn't. I don't want to troll you. So
Do it.
That sucks.
Do it. Fuck with me. I dare you.
No, it's no. So anyway, going back to what you were saying, what's damn? That's another question I don't want to ask you, but I was going to ask you what your home life was like. Let me ask you this: when you have these dreams, what do you feel like when you wake up? After you wake up, do you feel like scared? Do you feel angry? Like what do you feel when you wake up?
I feel a huge sense of relief that it wasn't true and it didn't actually happen.
I know I've had that.
Like there's nothing wrong in my life. Like there's nothing that would normally cause that to happen. It just happens. It's so weird.
To wake up, it's just like such a fucking relief that whatever you're going through is just a dream. That's one of the most awesome feelings ever. Yeah,
you can just fucking wake up and your phone is right next to you, and then boom, you can just watch YouTube and you're fucking fine.
Hey, watch your mouth, kid.
I'm not a kid.
You can't curse like I can, okay?
Okay, sorry, bro.
Nah, I'm just kidding, bro. I don't give a fuck what you say. You say what you want. I ain't your daddy. That man, go ahead. You have the mic.
Hello. My name is Henry, but I go by Duncan nowadays. I would like to tell a time. I'd like to also say that I am over the age of 18. Mm-hmm. When I was around 15 years old, I had a dream. Now, I am fortunate enough to be able who has studied dreams. I am also studying alchemy and other kind of extra worldly things like that involving different types of gods and stuff. But when I was 15 years old, I had a dream where I was in the Vietnam War and I was a Marine. And I was going through the jungle with a few of my friends. One was named Tim. The other was named, I believe it was Bill. And we were going through the jungles of Vietnam. And we had been ambushed by the Viet Cong. They had come out of nowhere, and we proceeded to engage in a firefight with them that lasted 2 hours and 36 minutes. I then remember a grenade blast next to me. I was thrown to the ground, and a piece of shrapnel entered into my stomach. I was still alive at this point, but I realized that all of my comrades were dead, and it was just me. So I picked up the body of one of my dead comrades and put it over my back to try to blend in as a corpse amongst the dead. However, this failed, and a Viet Cong soldier walked up behind me, said a couple words in Vietnamese, and proceeded to shoot multiple rounds of his AK-47 into my back. So I believe that this dream was the universe or the God's way of showing me how I passed away in a previous life. For I have had many dreams based on the military, and from a very young age, I somehow had a lot of information about the Vietnam War, more than some kid should really have. So I've been working on a hypothesis based on the idea that we, as people, are reincarnated, and we occasionally, if you are enlightened enough, can look back in time and see very, very major moments in a past life.
Very interesting. I encourage you to take this hypothesis that you have into a theory eventually, if you can somehow, with the use of experiments. And if there's any way you can measure these types, I don't know if you can measure a dream with anything more than, say, a journal. I know that people can hook up these electrodes essentially and see what parts of the brain are actually activating during REM sleep. And when you're having these dreams, what parts of those brains are lighting up, what neurotransmitters are firing in your body and your brain, I mean. And it would be interesting to conduct tests like that, because real world data is what's going to give this type of study credit, you know what I mean? So you're right about it being a hypothesis right now, because you're turning the wheels on this type of stuff. So hopefully I encourage you somehow to turn this into a theory if you can. It's not impossible either to think that somebody in VR AltSpace in the audience is capable of scientific study, in coming up with an actual theory. I mean, it's grand, but I really, really hope that these experiences you have lead you somewhere, because I'm totally into this type of stuff. No, absolutely. I'm totally into the phenomenon of past lives, just psychic phenomenon in general. I really feel that there's just not enough data out there. But when you, sir, come and you stated what you did, obviously it's not a joke, because I mean you're talking very vividly about carrying your dead comrades and stuff like that. I mean, people don't joke about stuff like that. I would hope not.
It was even down to the minor details as well. I remember the weight of an M16, which I recently had the opportunity to actually hold, and it was everything down. Everything about that has a familiarity that is more than just being a historian. It's more than just research. I was actually there. And sometimes I'll in the middle of the night, I'll hear things too that I couldn't possibly hear, which I attribute to extra worldly activities.
Very interesting. Well, these are our topics for another conversation, and I'm glad you're here. I want to welcome you guys for being here too. That's very awesome. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that we are pretty much out of time. But again, for those of you new in the audience, I want to let you know that there is an image hidden behind these mushrooms that you see over here. So I want you guys to pick up on that image if you possibly can. Just pick up on that. And I know you, Lenny. I know all about you. You're not going to say shit until the very end, okay? So anyway, pick up on that image. I'm going to project it onto you, see if you guys might be able to get on the idea of this. All right, so with that said, the first thing that comes to your mind, don't overthink it. First thing that just comes to your mind, don't try to make multiple guesses. You only get one try. Go ahead, raise up your hands, and we'll go one by one. See what you guys think. Go ahead, that man. You have the megaphone. What do you think that is? What do you feel? What do you think? That man, 30. Go ahead.
Apologies. I believe to me, I don't know if this is actually it, but to me it's a face with the eyes. Yeah.
Just a face with eyes? Kind of like, you mean like a happy face or a person's face? What kind of face?
To me it looks like a face.
Gotcha. Okay. Matt, what do you think?
Hello?
Yep. Go ahead.
I know you're almost out of time, man, but I really need to say something.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just joined this, and I've been asking people around, and so far I haven't gotten a straight answer. So I'm just gonna say it here in front of all of you, and I want y'all to kind of help me out. But recently, I've been having memories of something that I kind of remember, but it's like secondary to my actual memory. Like, I think I remember it, but I don't know if I was there or not, and it's kind of freaking me out. And there's these constant messages that are saying he is a dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. And I think it didn't take place during this century. I think it took place during the last century, and I wonder if I can have any help with that. Sure. And I just want help from you, or from some other people in the audience.
Yeah, I can help you with that. You want to know what that is?
What?
That's something that came out on the White Album, okay, of the Beatles. So don't fucking bullshit me or my audience, man. Get the fuck out of here. All right, so Sunny, you have the megaphone. Go ahead.
Well done, taking care of that troll. I applaud you. Yay! Okay, I think it's something to do with water.
It's a waste of time.
It is.
Yeah. Go ahead. What was
that? Water.
Water.
Something to do with water.
Water. Gotcha. Universal. Go ahead. I can't give you the microphone. Try it again. Saitama, what do you think?
Well, I got a cup of orange juice and I got a tongue.
Orange juice and a tongue. All right. Leviathan, what do you think?
I think it's something in between of animal or human, maybe like part human animal.
Part human animal? Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right, guys. So that's pretty much all of you. So, how can I put this? This is an image. Oh, okay. If you want to raise your hand, Lenny, on the bottom right, you'll see the raise hand option. That's how you want to do it.
Hello.
Did you actually? I'm going to give you the megaphone here, Lenny. Did you go ahead? Did you actually see what's behind that picture? Did you actually see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Universal, go ahead.
Is it an alien's face?
An alien's face?
Yeah.
Well, you're asking me, and I can't tell you what it is, but no, it's not an alien's face. So you know, 7-4. Yes, 7-4-92. No, okay. All right, that's okay. Paulina, you did not give your guess. That's okay. Let's see. All right, guys. Go ahead, Paulina. What do you think it is? No, okay.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, music related.
Music related. Huh, okay, interesting. All right, guys. I'm going to open up the stage. You guys can come take a look at what it is. I got to say, out of all the guesses I had here tonight, I don't think anybody got it right, but that's okay. Check it out. Now you go take a look. That doesn't mean that you do not have psychic abilities. It just means that you should be trying a little harder to engage your subconscious awareness. And a lot of that, again, has to do with... Somebody said orange.
I said orange juice. And
Orange
I said
juice.
tongue. And this bitch is completely like, you know.
Well, she doesn't have a tongue.
These
now.
pictures over here kind of like
She looks like a tongue.
hints.
No, actually, I put these pictures up. These pictures are actually completely opposite, so that they don't influence your decision. Obviously, none of these have anything to do with a she-devil or anything like that. As a matter of fact, they're completely opposite in terms of, I guess you want to call it beauty. I guess you can say that too.
I got a question.
Is that a boiled egg?
I think it is a boiled egg, yeah. Okay.
I got a question.
What? What is your question? All right. Yay, I don't have to answer it anymore. Okay, guys. All right. So, but anyway, Lenny, how the hell did you get access to the stage? That's what I want to know. Nobody's supposed to get access to the stage.
I don't know. I just joined and I had access.
All right, no problem. All right, guys. Well, I do want to thank you guys for coming out here to the Witching Hour tonight. Tomorrow, I'll probably be here, same time. You know, sometimes there's things that come up. I didn't do my show yesterday, but, you know, life happens sometimes. So anyway, I just, again, want to say thank you guys for coming out here, especially the timers and especially my regulars, pretty much everybody. We really want to thank you guys because, you know, if it wasn't for people that come here to share their experiences and take the show seriously. See, this is the thing. I don't take myself all that seriously. I just feel that if you're gonna fuck with the show, please, for the love of fuck, make it funny. Just make it funny. That's all you gotta do. I'm totally cool with people fucking around. Just make it funny. That's all, man. Don't waste time, because you're not just wasting my time. You're wasting, like, everyone's time that comes here that wants to see the show. And I just got to mention that because it seems like there's people that want to come to my first show, which is the comedy show and the prank call show. If you want to laugh and have some laughs, we can have some laughs, but this isn't that show. So anyway, you guys, thanks for coming out here. I'm surprised I did the show. I have a fucking migraine that's killing me right now, so I'm surprised I was able to really do this. But hey, thanks for coming out, hanging out. and contributing your piece. We'll see you tomorrow night, guys. Leviathan with the Witching Hour. See you guys.